When Laura woke up, she found herself in a strange room thinking, am I in a reality show? She quickly realized she was in a castle, and upon entering the lavish hall, she saw a giant photo of herself on the wall, thinking, am I on some beauty pageant? Laura was stunned, just trying to regain her composure, when a handsome man silently appeared behind her, looking like he just stepped out of a time machine. The man's appearance was ghostly, and Laura blacked out, fainting into his arms, as if acting in a drama. When she woke up, she realized he wasn't doing anything rash, but was carefully attending to her. However, Laura was not appreciative of his kindness, just like a character who discovers the truth. It turned out he was Mahima, head of the biggest mafia in Sicily. Shot in an assassination, near death, he saw light. I saw light, and you look like an angel, he told her. His light was quite an exaggeration. She felt like dreaming, wondering about sleepwalking, until they crossed at the airport. Then she realized how humorously fate played. She thought Mahima was her destiny, even though he looked like a thief catcher, yet Laura clearly didn't buy his story. She threatened him to let her go, stating her boyfriend wasn't one to mess with, but Mahima handed her a black envelope containing evidence of her boyfriend's son. She thought, is this game judgment? Mahima, sipping coffee, told her calmly her boyfriend didn't deserve her. He claimed he had his men write a breakup letter for her and took all her stuff, mothering her like a big baby, which made Laura quite displeased. She tried to escape, but Mahima stopped her instantly, like an escape room, warning not to test his limits. Then, under Laura's gaze filled with shock, he rudely made an unreasonable request, which Laura dismissed completely, wondering in her heart, hadn't he ever watched the classic movie The Godfather? She tried to escape again, but was caught by Mahima, radiating a suffocating aura like a male model. Without hesitation, she pulled out the gun, aimed, thinking a moment to regain dignity. However, Mahima saw it as a comedy. He flipped his wrist and snatched the gun, treating frail Laura like prey, a tragicomic scene. Just then, his old butler and henchman walked in, looking urgent, prompting Mahima to have them take Laura back to her room. Despite her ever-burning desire to escape, Laura seized the moment and sneaked away. However, she stumbled upon the scene that made her heart race. She witnessed Mahima personally executing a family traitor, as if she had stumbled into a horror movie. After a scare, Laura fainted again, and when she woke up, she found Mahima guarding her like an unreliable night watchman. He seriously explained to Laura that despite being in the dark, his family had principles, and child trafficking was a big no-no. He couldn't guarantee other things, but this bottom line was non-negotiable, trying to justify himself like a parent on Children's Day. Mahima's hard stance ignited Laura's fury, declaring she wouldn't go with him unless he seriously planned to take her home. Yet Mahima remained resolute, as if she were talking to a wall, and she just couldn't comprehend his role in this bizarre drama. The air froze instantly, and the atmosphere turned tense. It was a sight never seen before. Mahima had always controlled the scene. Never had anyone dared to treat him this way, as if it was an absurd standard. Yet surprisingly, the furious Mahima fell silent. The emotions swelling within him made him look like a humbled little cat. When Laura wore the dazzling red dress, he ignored her protests, taking her to the biggest luxury shopping street for an absurd spree. Laura felt like a goddess of vengeance, sweeping through luxury stores, with staff helplessly shaking their heads, thinking, time to treat myself. However, Laura's goals were no small feat. She secretly planned to sit atop the shopping throne while looking for an escape opportunity. She thought she could slip out of Mahima's sight, only to find he was like her shadow, making escape impossible. She realized this was Mahima's domain. Escaping was utterly unrealistic, so she decided to play along temporarily while preparing a counter. She didn't dare say, "You can't touch me without my permission," even though she thought this in her head, like a little princess swearing. With Mahima's assurance, she reclaimed her phone and luggage, wanting Polish cuisine for dinner. Mahima easily fulfilled this request and even invited a Polish chef to prepare a sumptuous candlelight dinner for her like they were in a candy house. However, as the mafia boss, Mahima handled gang affairs smoothly, yet when it came to Laura, he was always at a loss. Like a chef, so he sincerely pleaded with Laura, "I beg you, tell me how to do something kind." Laura could never imagine that this feared mafia boss would show such delicate emotions before her, like a supermarket lady. At that moment, Mahima's image subtly transformed in her heart, like strawberries turning into cream. Even after getting her phone back, she didn't call the police but told her parents a lie, claiming she needed to stay in Italy for a year due to work, as if she were on a true feelings test. Laura planned to endure a year, hoping Mahima would quit, but unexpectedly found his shining points, like a new world. She discovered that Mahima would sneak into her room while she slept, yet this iron-fisted man didn't do anything out of line. He merely lay quietly beside her, keeping her company through the long night, like an enjoyable friend, allowing her heart to slowly lower its guard. Laura gradually stopped resisting his closeness, but couldn't help teasing him about being a promise breaker who loves to play tattletale. This comment effectively incensed Mima. As a light punishment for her insolence, he had his men carry Laura onto the private jet, as if they were heading home. To keep Laura from causing any trouble on the plane, he strapped her securely into her seat with a seatbelt, as if he was binding her into a marriage contract. Though Laura was utterly unwilling, she had no choice but to fly to Rome with Mahima, thinking, "This is just like a dream." What was even more unexpected was that Laura never backed down upon learning Mahima aimed to negotiate with other gangs. She secretly started plotting, thinking, "I better plan my next move." If you enjoyed this story, please consider subscribing to my channel for more fantastic content.